yesterday, October 3rd, 2014, I went to school with my son. They believe that he has some sort of behavioral issue, and I went in to sit in the class and observe what I saw. During that time, I noticed a bunch of kids doing basically everything that they have said that my son is doing, talking out, not raising his hand and getting up and walking around. Although I didn't notice my son doing any of those things, I did see other children. And I went to go and talk to the principal about how well behaved Atreyu was. And I thought that the outcome of it would be him saying to me, he was just doing it because you were there, but he's really bad when you're not. And he didn't say that, and it went a different way, and I want to start some awareness in the Porter Lakes Elementary School and maybe all over the internet, because this is a professional who is watching over our children, who we are supposed to trust with our kids, and I can't. So I just want you to listen how hard he is pushing me about having ADD or ADHD. So go ahead and listen.
So how do you think yesterday went? Have you talked to Ms. Kastner?
I didn't talk to Ms. Kastner, I talked to Ms. Scott.
That's what I mean, sorry.
And she said Trey was, pretty good in the morning. And seemed to, follow the rules and not interrupt and do those kinds of things that we're asking him not to do. Then he said in the afternoon, she said in the afternoon, typical, things that he do.
So that's how he normally acts in the afternoon?
That's what she said he normally acts like basically all day. The interruption, the not focusing, the out of his seat.
If that's what it is, I think that he really is not that bad, to be honest. I hope that that's not what all this is that much over, because I took notes the entire time I was in there, and I find that, the only time he got up was 2 times to come over and talk to me because I had asked him to come here. That's the only thing, because I could see he was upset and I wanted to figure out why he was getting so upset. So he'd only been out of his seat 2 times. And there were other children that were blurting out the entire class. Since the moment I walked in there in the morning until the end of the day, that nothing was said to them. And I have, actual names. I wrote it down because I wanted to know what was going on. When I signed him up for the school here, I put in his file that Atreyu has a bladder issue and he needs to use the restroom when he's allowed to go. He needs to go, and he raised his hand and asked for 1 hour and 45 minutes to go to the restroom, and did not get to go until then. And it's in his file that he has to go when he needs to go. That is one thing. What I observed was him sitting still. He really wasn't that agitated in the morning and in the afternoon. The only time he seemed to get upset at all was after a tally mark that he received. That, to be honest, I don't believe that he was the only person that should have gotten any amount of trouble, and I feel like that's why he got upset. She said, there are 2 people here saying that you did this, so now you're getting a tally mark. I feel like when you say he's in crisis, when we had our meeting, that worried me. But if that's what you're experiencing all day long, I think that's a lot. That's a completely different story.
I just want to pause it really quick and let you know that a tally mark is the way that they use to humiliate my son Atreyu in class. They will make a tally on a chart so all the kids in the class can see every time Atreyu messes up. And then when they bring it home, I'm supposed to punish him based off of this. So if he gets, if he forgets to raise his hand or he gets up and sharpens his pencil, I'm supposed to punish him over this.
had only gotten up twice. I mean, the only thing I really thought was he looked a little tired. That's what I really, in the morning, around 10:30, he looked real tired. So we adjusted that at home. But, I mean, there was another student, Jackson, who either was...
We can't talk about any other kids.
Okay, well, I'm going to say there was another student in the classroom who sat directly by him, who was either out of his seat the entire time I walked in the door, never sitting correctly in his
What else
seat.
about a trade?
No, I'm going to say my son is being treated unfairly. There shouldn't be two separate. There should not be two separate set of rules for Atreyu and everyone else. There is. I witnessed it with my own eyes.
Right. You were in the room, and the trainee was off task while you were in the room with him. That's according to Mrs.
Twice. And there was another student who was off 27 times, and nothing was said to him. No, we are. We are going to talk about another student.
Well, I'm done talking about anybody except the trainee. And I will tell you, Ms. McBride, that you're in denial of the fact that
I'm telling you, you don't know what you're talking about. My son does not have ADD or ADHD. You are not a medical professional. I went to medical school. You did not. And you've pushed it.
Those are your words.
You've pushed it several times.
Those are your words, okay? And I respect that. And I need your help in fixing what's the problem with the trainee.
Okay, the problem is you guys are holding a microscope over my child, and every time he misbehaves, you're putting a tally mark down. Yeah, no it is, because I watched it. I watched what happened in class, whether I'm there or not. I am a strong believer that whatever the input is, there's going to be the same output. So if you're going to be negative and constantly look for something negative, he's going to give you that result.
And that's your opinion, Mr. Bride, and I can't change that, I guess. But I'm telling you that we have to hold Atreyu accountable. He's got to follow the rules.
So who's going to hold you accountable?
Like everybody else does.
You're not treating him like everyone else. I saw him. No, you're not.
Denial, Mr. Bride.
Excuse me, sir. You were not in the room. In all due respect, sir. You were not in the classroom. You were not in the classroom, and I saw other students stealing off of her desk, and I told her, and she said, he's a little stinker.
Okay.
My son steals something, he's banned from a book fair.
Mr. Bride, Atreyu is not focusing.
Is being treated differently than other children, I agree.
To come back and have problems with him.
Yes, when you're
He's going
treating
to
him
start to have
differently.
problems academically.
Yes, because you are treating him differently.
You need to fix what's wrong behaviorally.
You are what's wrong behaviorally. That is what's wrong behaviorally. Other students, they make a mistake. They can fix it and move back up to green. My son makes a mistake, and you're expecting... My expectations are you do your job. And I'm going to take it to the school board. No, you're not doing your job. You are not doing your job.
We're done now.
I'm expecting you...
We're finished.
Do not tell me when we're finished.
I will tell you.
I will let you know I am expecting you...
You're not listening to what I have to
You are not my boss. I am not a 7-year-old
Never
here.
said that I was.
I am not a 7-year-old at the school.
I appreciate you coming in, and I got no...
You do not appreciate me coming because you're not letting me explain to you.
You and I need to work together, Ms. McBride.
I'm not going to be on your side about this because you're wrong.
Well, that's unfortunate, because I can't see that he's going to get any better. I can't see.
No, I can't see either because you're not giving him a chance.
It's not going to get any better.
You're not giving him a chance.
We're done, because you and I...
No, because you won't accept that you're wrong.
We can go around like this forever, Ms. McBride. You have one opinion, I have another, okay? It's unfortunate, because I think we really need to work together on it. And I don't see a solution for Atreyu unless you and I are working together.
I'm not going to constantly...
I have a student being tested.
I'm not going to constantly park down my son and have you tell me that there's not structure at my
I'm not
home.
asking you to
You know
park
you
down
are.
your son.
You are.
No, I'm
Because you
not.
said, what do you do if he gets a tally mark?
There's a difference between harping and asking you to follow through with what we
Follow
hear.
through?
Yeah.
I am following through to the best of my ability, but when other students are able to work themselves
talking
back
about
up,
those students.
no, we're not. We're talking about my son,
Yeah, we are.
who's
We're
such a
talking
bad
about
kid that you
Nobody
labeled.
said that.
No, you have labeled him.
I've never called Atreyu bad, ever.
Don't
Never
point at
once.
me.
I've
Do
never
not
called-
point at me.
I've never called Atreyu bad.
I'm saying you're wrong. You need to give him a shot. You're not giving him a shot.
We do every day.
No, you don't.
Every day when he comes in here, Miss McBride.
No, every day you're
it's
negative
even
to
slate.
him. No, it's
a
not.
clean slate.
No, it's not. How about when my daughter was down here for 2 days crying her eyes out and called her a liar? Did you say you're sorry to her? Did you say you're sorry to my daughter who was down here for 2 days crying?
No, I did not.
And was she lying about bringing a book that I brought a book in for?
My secretaries and I have been over that, and Mrs. Steinhope has been over that. We don't remember any book being...
How about you ask her teacher who came to you and asked you about it?
She doesn't remember either.
I talked to her teacher, parent conferences. She said you won't communicate with her about it. You had my daughter down here for 2 days, and you called her a liar.
What is it we're talking about, Miss McGrath? Are we talking about a trade?
Excuse me, I have 2 children that go to the school, and I'm addressing both those issues.
And I want to know what we're talking about.
You called my daughter a liar. You didn't apologize. You had her crying for 2 days, telling her she looked ugly when she cried.
I never knew that book got here.
It doesn't matter. Why didn't you pick up the phone and call?
Yes, it does matter.
You called my daughter a liar for 2 days, had her bawling, took her recesses away, and couldn't pick up the phone to call me.
Never
But for a
explained to me how the book got to her
she
classroom.
didn't know.
What she came in
Because her
and told
teacher
me.
got the book. The teacher got the book and put it in her desk. She didn't even
That's
know.
not what Mrs. Wentz told me.
I thought you said you didn't talk to her about it. She didn't know anything about it. You just said you didn't talk to her about it. She didn't know anything about it.
I never said that.
Oh, well, because I recorded it, and I'll play it back for you.
Make an appointment and
No, I'm not going to make an appointment. I'll see you at the school board meeting.
And then I was asked to leave. So, this is all going to go in a different way than I wanted it to go. I felt, first of all, when he was putting his finger in my face, did he not only point at me, it was almost touching my nose. He got up from his chair, came over, and put his body over me and was pointing at me as if I was a child, and I felt threatened. Like, it was awful. And the part that really crushed me is thinking, if I was that uncomfortable and that upset, how was my son? We need to keep these teachers and the principals and everyone accountable for their actions, just like they're expecting of my son. He asked me to leave once I caught him in a lie. I love my daughter and I love my son, and they are my world. I will not settle for mediocre teachers or principals or staff. I will not settle for this. I'm asking that you spread the word about teachers and principals and staff that are pushing drugs on our children during Red Ribbon Week. Are you kidding me? He's sitting here saying to me, there's a problem. He can't focus. I watched him sit there and focus. He has straight A's. What more do you want from this child? He is done 20 minutes before any other student. Give him a piece of paper and a pencil and let him draw. And when I suggested that, he said, we don't want to reward him. He is constantly in trouble. And I've said this 5